Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm Brendan Lee. In this video, please bear with me. I apologize in advance. I might have some long preamble at the front, and then I'm going to get into the heart of this video. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about making progress in transformation work, personal transformation. Okay, so here's the preamble. This comes from a student, somebody who bought my paid course. They're the Principles for Life Mastery course. Shameless plug. Check my website, links in the description. And they're working on it, and they were working on changing their attitude and disposition. And then also getting some feedback from others about themselves. And then they received this feedback and then asked me a question about the feedback. And I replied, that's another story. And then to which they replied, thank you. Hi, Brendan. Thank you for the reply. I spoke to the critics. I basically said, because they said, well, what did their feedback actually mean? And I said, well, I don't know what it meant. Go ask them, for clarification, which is a powerful thing you can do if you're confused. Hey, clarify the situation. AKA, ask people, talk to people, get clear, and then you'll know much more, what their experience actually is, because I didn't know. So they spoke to them to get clarification, and I got this back. It's like, hi, Brendan, thank you for the reply. I spoke to the critics, and the heart of the matter is I believed working hard is the best, most right way to live life. And by doing so, it made me a right person. I realized this was a mistake, and also how much I'm up to in order to be right. I don't know anybody that's ever done that before. Now, it's not my ultimate goal. Now that it's not my ultimate goal, my drive is lacking because I'm not achieving being right. I'm not sure what I'm doing. What's the most powerful way to change this? Thank you, blah, blah. Okay? So, great question, because I feel like myself and others have run into a similar problem where if I'm going to work on myself, then either somebody changes or they have the fear, well, what's going to happen to me if I change something core about me? Am I still going to want the things that I want? Or am I going to lose all my skills or some such? Or am I going to lose something if I change myself at a core level? Then I won't be the same. I'm going to lose something or some such. As far as I can tell, it's in the domain of loss. Either power, skills, lose friends, it's like I'm going to lose something. Or lose my motivation. I bet that's a big one. I get similar questions along those lines. And the question being, what's the most powerful way to change this? So now let me consider with you here. Let's check it out, right? One thing you can consider is that if you change yourself, if you actually change, then you won't be the same one anymore. Now, coming from the perspective like that you have now, that could be seen as a threat. But if you change, now you're this way, you're transformed, you aren't that way, so you're not concerned about what you were because you aren't that. It's not you anymore. So from the perspective of, say, maybe where you are, changing could be a threat, or I have seen this in others where, say, for example, just telling a story now, quick sidebar, that my background's changed. In the background, I'm shifting this place around because we're about to have apprentices come in, yeah? And then sometimes these are very serious people that are going to live here for a long period of time and do a metric fuck ton of work or a whole lot of work, okay? And their significant others sometimes get concerned, well, what if they change? Are they going to like me anymore? And I think this goes both ways. You see, so there's some threat there. What if they change? So all I'm saying with that, not just to tell a story and then also to contribute to the video, is if you make a change, you think you might lose something or lose motivation or some part of you will be gone. Now, I want to reassure you that if you do make a change, don't worry about it. And the skills that you have will remain. Whatever skills you've trained up, you will have those skills. All right, because sometimes people think, well, I'm gonna not like the same things. Well, you might not, But that's okay, because you're going to like other things and it will balance out. See, that's just like a fear or an assumption coming from the original perspective, perhaps. Now, I don't think that's quite the question here. It's, I've made a change. I'm no longer trying to be right, or you could insert whatever it is, trying to seek approval or whatever it is for you. But in this person's case, their core deal was like, everything I'm doing is to be right, like to live the right way, to do the right thing, to do the right, this right, that right, this right. That's not what I'm up to anymore. I'm losing motivation. Now, one thing that comes up for me to invite you to consider is take a look and see if instead of you're being right, now all of a sudden everything you do to be right is now the wrong thing. I'm no longer motivated. It is possible that you are still trying to be right by recognizing that everything you do is right. And therefore, now I can't do anything because I'm trying to be right, and that's the wrong way to live. That can be confusing. Did you get that? I'm trying to be right. I'm trying to be right. I'm trying to be right. I realize, oh my God, everything I'm doing is trying to be right. That's wrong. That's still trying to be right because you've assessed that everything you're doing is now wrong. So now the right way to live is, I don't know, because everything I do is right, is trying to be right. And all of that's wrong. That could still be the same perspective of, I'm trying to be right, just now applied everywhere, which then could be a real mind screw. So take a look at that. If you are still trying to be right like that, then okay, good. Now, what if that is the case? What if you are still entrenched in, I need to live the right way and everything I do is wrong? The first thing to do is let that be there. Okay, good. And let yourself be exactly the way you are. And then get why the drive to be right in the first place. So I need to do everything to live the right way. Why are you doing that? If you're doing that. Okay? I'm just playing off of the first part. What I said, like, if you are still entrenched in, I'm going to do life the right way, let yourself do life the right way. Notice how driven you are. Let it be there. And then question, why the drive? Why are you driven? And then start to discover. You can enter into what we call bottom line contemplation to discover what that's really about. You know, what are you really up to trying to be right? Okay? That will push you in a direction. Now, if you've really changed, what you are up to is no longer trying to be right or wrong. If you're free from that, it is no longer, your actions are no longer about the right way or the wrong way. They're just actions that you do or don't do. And they're no longer linked to being right or wrong. And if that's the case, I imagine there should be some freedom there. But it sounds like there is a confusion. I keep going back, like I'm circling, and I keep bringing myself back to the heart of what I think the question is. I no longer feel any motivation I'm no longer driven to do these things. Well, and then how do I change that? Well, the most immediate and powerful thing you can do, if you are free, is simply do the things to do the things. Work hard. Why? Why not? If you need a reason to work hard, create a reason. You are now free, if you are free. Which I question that, but I'm open. I'm wide open. Literally, don't let me questioning whether or not you're free put some idea in that you might not be free. If you're free, you're free. I don't care. See? That means you can create now. Free from an agenda and a drive to, like, Say somebody has a drive to constantly be approved of, and they realize that their entire life was completely about approval. And then they stop that suddenly or realize, holy crap, that's my entire self is built on approval. But then if I take the foundation away, what do I do? What do I do? Pick something to do that's powerful and enjoy. I mean, if you're free from the agenda, now you could still do the same activity. Like say I developed a complex set of interpersonal skills and sensitivities driven by a fear of not being desirable by others or some such, or not being approved of by others. So I like develop some superpowers in the social domain. Then I take my foundations away. Now I've got these skills. Cool. What do you do with them? Well, use them or not. Be happy. See? So now back to the question again. It's like, so then what do I do? I don't feel the drive to work hard or some such. What's the most powerful way to change this? Now, if you want the drive to work hard, like if you think working hard is necessary and effective and that's something you want to be up to, go ahead. There is nothing stopping you from doing that. That is my answer to your question, is the most powerful way to change it is to straight up change it. Just do it. If you can. Which sounds like you can. You see? I think people don't grasp that they can create things and then they feel like they need a reason to do so. Maybe not. Maybe the reason is simply to do it. Or you could create a principle for interaction and align with that, like in your work. What is the most powerful way you can be in your work? Whatever that is. See? And then do that. Because as far as I can tell, ultimately, life isn't going anywhere. We will die. So then the question might be, well, what do I do while I'm alive? If I'm driven, usually, as far as I can tell, most people go through in their entire life driven to achieve some agenda for the most part. Like people have agendas, like shit going on. Like I'm unresolved, so I'm driven to achieve this thing. And then, well, what if I have no drive anymore? Fuck, life is meaningless. But then is that a bad thing that life is meaningless? That's meaning. No, life is actually meaningless. And you are free to create or not create. And it just so happens, as far as I can tell, that most people live out the drive that goes nowhere. They're driven to try to achieve, but it doesn't fulfill the problem that's inside them that they're driven to achieve in the first place. And if you take that like achievement away, well, now there's no more drive to do that. But now is that a problem? If it's a problem, then I suspect that there's still some drive going on, or like that's, something's still running in there. So now if that's the case, now I don't know. Again, I feel like I'm circling around, but also moving in a direction here. If you're driven and you realize that external circumstance never solves the problem, that's because it will not. Like the new set of shoes, the new this, the new that, if I just achieve $1 million, if I get the right girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, if I have kids, if I get the house, whatever, if I attain something outside, it will fix me. As far as I can tell, that is not how that goes. Internal problems require internal solutions. There's only one way to fix that, and you have to fix it in yourself as a fix. See, one of your things might be, I'm driven to fix everything. Then how do you get free of, I need to fix everything? Well, you stop worrying about whether you're fixed or not fixed. You transcend the whole deal. So then internally, I have to be right. You can perhaps realize, oh man, I think that there is right and wrong, and it means something, and that's what I need to be up to. But why do I need to be up to that? And then perhaps it becomes, if you grasp the nature of the problem, the internal problem, or something we're calling a problem, and the reason we're calling it a problem is it probably shows up as something that's disempowering to the individual. Stuff that's powerful in us, we don't really have a problem with it. It's stuff that's like disempowering or hurtful or painful. You see, the good stuff, oh, goody. You see, but then there's all this other stuff. It's like, oh, I'm somehow wrong in here. And maybe you can grasp what's so, like what's really going on such that it transcends right and wrong. Now, I thought it was about right and wrong, because one does not exist without the other. They're not the separate right and wrong. They're together. You cannot have one without the other. And you go, oh, I was wrapped up in this thing, you see? And then it's like, oh, there's me doing the thing. I'm going to do, no, I don't. I don't need to do that thing, that whole thing that my whole self is like wrapped up in. Then it becomes, don't do that anymore. That's how you change it. Powerfully. No thanks. Okay? Now some traps, or at least one trap offhand, is in listening to the video, one major trap is then believing what I've said and believing that it's the right way to go. Now I've had some experience recently where it's like grasping, oh, it's the like what I've said is coming from experience, and you have to have that experience, not believe about what I've said. Those are different. And if you come from a belief about what I've said, it won't do the job, because believing and experiencing are not the same. So then about what I've said, you have to take a way to go about this that seems to work is you take what I say and apply it to your own experience, not a belief about it, but what's really going on in there. Now, some of the things I'm speaking about may be in a domain that is ignorant, the individual is ignorant of, which means you don't know that is going on for you, in which case questioning becomes valuable and important, like contemplation, what we call contemplation. Consider what's true about you, what's going on in you that perhaps you don't know about. Okay, so belief won't do the job. You will, but believing me won't. Or creating a system about this is, or having a thought about what I'm saying, or having a feeling about what I'm saying. These are other activities. I want you to grasp what's true in your own self, something I'm calling grasping. It's not thinking, it's not feeling, it's not believing, it's not emotion. It's grasping. To put a word to something, some experience or some insight, breakthrough, like, oh, see, that seems to work. Okay, and I'm not talking about psychology either. I'm talking about that from which your psychology arises. What might that be made of? Okay, so those are some of the traps. So consider what I've said, consider the traps, and then you go, if you want to take this on, you take it on and make headway in your own experience. You have to grasp your own experience. No outside force can do it for you. If somebody did invent some pill or some outside set of circumstances that we could put you through that would guarantee success, somebody would be extremely wealthy and everybody on the planet would be healed psychologically, or have, like, if you wanted a completely powerful internal state, they could just boom, 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 bam, 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 and done. No, that's because it doesn't work that way. The way it works is you discover what's going on and create a reality for yourself that is the powerful one that you want, that is free somehow. How do you do that? You use my video and then get busy considering for yourself. Okay, so how's that on the question? If that, you know who you are. If that didn't really answer your question, let me know. I'll hit it again. But about the most powerful way to change that is to now change it. Decide that there is some way you want to be and be it. If you need motivation, create it. If you need to have energy to do something, make it happen. Create it. Why? Why not? Doesn't matter. Just, are you doing it or not? All right, I hope that helps. So thanks for writing in. Till next time, I'm Brendan Lee with thebrendanlee.com in support of Consciousness and Skill Worldwide, which is founded by Peter Rawlinson. If you want to get serious, join us for a workshop. They are extremely powerful events that kick butt, way better than any video, any book in terms of their power and effectiveness. Why? Because you're live. You're working with a trained facilitator live. There's the quality that and being an environment that is built for that. There's qualities about that you cannot get from videos or books, guaranteed. You want to be less serious? I've got free course, paid course. You can hire me to be an online coach, etc. If you want to join a team, I'm gathering people to me that like this work and want to help spread it. So if you want to do that, contact me. You know how to do these things. Check the links in the description. I'm Brendan Lee. Till next time, much love. Take care.